Class 11 Biology Term 1 exam solved question paper for 70 marks. Before we start the question paper, we'll just go through the general instructions, point-wise. All questions are compulsory. The question paper has 5 sections and 33 questions. Section A has 16 questions of 1 mark each. Section B has 5 questions of 2 marks each. Section C has 7 questions of 3 marks each. Section D has 2 case-based questions of 4 marks each. And Section E has 3 questions of 5 marks each. Overall, there is no choices at all. However, internal choices have been provided in some questions. A student has to attempt only one of the alternatives in such questions. Wherever necessary, neat and properly labeled diagram should be drawn. Question number 1. Arrange the following in ascending order of similar characters. Family, genus, class, species. So option A says species, then genus, family, then class. Option B, genus, species, class, family. Option C says family, class, genus, species. Option D says class, family, genus, species. So the taxonomic hierarchy goes like this. Species comes first, then comes genus, and then comes family. After family comes order, then comes class, then phylum, last is kingdom. This is how the hierarchy is. So of these, which option will be according to this? What about option A? Species, genus, family. There should be order here, and then comes class. So option A would be the answer if it is in ascending order of similar characters. Question number 2. Which of the following are known as chief producers in the oceans? Option A, euglenoids. Option B, cyanobacteria. Option C, slime molds. And option D, diatoms. And this one's answer is diatoms. Question number 3. Deuteromycetes are imperfect fungi because of which of the following options? Option A, no sexual reproduction. They form conidiospores, no zygospore, all of the above. Actually, all of the above will be the answer because they don't have sexual reproduction. They do form conidiospores and there is no zygospore. Number 4, the first organisms found on rock formation is option A, moss, option B, lichen, option C, fern, option D, grass. The answer here is lichen. Question number 5, the giant redwood tree is an angiosperm, B, pteridophyte, C, liverwort, D, gymnosperm. Giant redwood tree is a gymnosperm. Plant group has vascular tissues, spores, but they have no seeds. Options are angiosperms, bryophyta, pteridophyta, and gymnosperms. So they have the vascular tissues, but they have spores also, but they don't have seeds. So the answer will be pteridophyta. Number 7, Chlorella, Chlamydomonas, Spirogyra, and Cara belong to A, Chlorophyceae, B, Phaeophyceae, C, Cyanophyceae, D, Rhodophyceae. So Chlorella, Chlamydomonas and all, they belong to green algae. That means they belong to chlorophytes. That is the answer. Helps in feeding in mollusca. Options are A. Choanocyte, B. Nidoblast, C. Osculum, and D. Radula. And the answer is Radula, which is there inside the mouth. Question number 9. Hagfish belongs to A. Cephalochordate, B. Cyclostomes, C. Constrictis, D. Osteichthyes. And here the answer is cyclostomes. Question number 10. Veins of the leaves are used for which of the following options? A. Transport of water, B. Transport of nutrients, C. Mechanical support, D. All of the above. So veins of the leaves actually help in all these functions, A, B, C also. So the answer is D. All of the above. Question number 11. Monocot can be distinguished from dicot by A. Aestivation, B. Venation, C. Root system, D. Both B and C. Venation means how the veins are been arranged in the leaves. Root system, there are two types, taproot system, fibrous root system. And in case if it's a dicot plant, they would have reticulate venation and taproot system. If they are monocot plants, then they would have parallel venation and fibrous root system. So there's nothing mentioned about aestivation. So the answer would be option D, both B and C. Question number 12. Phylum Chordata are characterized by the presence of A, B, C, and D. Identify A, B, C, and D. So here, what is given as A? A is nerve cord. Is the B part. B is notochord. C, these are all gill slits. So C will be gill slits. And the last one, D. D will be this area. So it is post-anal tail part. Sternal part. So that will be the answer. There should be an option which involves A, nerve cord, B, notochord, C, pharyngeal gill slits, and D, post-anal part. Answer is option B. A, nerve cord, B, notochord, C, gill slits, and D, post-anal part. Question number 13. Assertion. Gametes are formed as a result of meiosis. Reason, meiotic division occurs in reproductive cells. So is the assertion true? Yes, it is true. And is reason the best explanation for the assertion? Yes, it's meiotic division that occurs in reproductive cells. And that's why gametes are formed as a result of meiosis. So here the first option will be the correct. That is, both assertion and reason are true, and reason is a correct explanation for assertion. That will be the correct answer. Question number 14. Assertion is starch is a polymer of glucose. Reason, it is made of several glucose units. Here assertion is also true. Reason is also the correct explanation of assertion. So here the answer would be A. Enzymes are not divided into processes. Enzymes are divided into processes. What about the next one? Reason. All enzymes catalyze the different reactions. They use the word different reactions. That is true. So here A is false, but reason is true. Assertion for question number 16. New cells arise from pre-existing cells. And reason, Virchow first explained omnicellular, acellular. So here assertion is also correct, reason is also explaining what is assertion. So the option will be A. A option will be correct. Question number 17. Plant may have different names in different regions of the country or world. How do botanists solve this problem? Give an example. Hindi, it will be called as Malayalam, it is called Ambalam. Tamil, it is called Ambalam. Bengali, it is called English, it is mango. So, in different languages, it will be different. And different parts of the world, it will be different. That's when there's a need of a name that is uniformly known by the same name. So, we can call mango as Mangifera indica. Then mango will be called by the same name throughout the world. 17 onwards, it was 2 marks question. So this is also a 2-mark question. Question number 18. Which are the basic processes in taxonomy? The basic processes involved in taxonomy is one is characterization. That is first, whether it is a plant or an animal, we have to write down the basic characteristics of that particular living organism. Then we will be able to identify that. Then we can classify it whether it's a plant or an animal or something else. Then we can go for nomenclature, which means naming. So each of these terminology gets half mark. So totally it gets 2 marks. Question number 19 for 2 marks. Question is, what do the terms phycobiont and mycobiont signify? Phycobiont and myco means fungi. And next is phycobiont. That refers to the algae that produce food. Question number 20 for 2 marks. How is pinnately compound leaf different from palm leaf? Pinnately compound leaf has leaflets on common rachis. Like if there's a common midrib, is we call it as leaflets. Like this, if there are leaflets arising on a rachis, then it is called as pinnately compound leaf. Whereas a palmately compound leaf, they also have leaflets, but they're attached to a common point on the top of petiole. So if this is a petiole of the leaf, so on top of that, on that common point, new leaflets arises. That is the case means we can call it as palmately compound leaf. So this is palmate.
How are viroids different from viruses?
21. Mention the functions of mesosome. Mesosomes help in cell wall formation, then DNA replication and distribution to daughter cells. They also help in respiration, secretion processes, and also to increase the surface area of plasma membrane and enzymatic content. So any 2 points from this should be written. Then you will get 2 marks.
Question is, state the economically important uses of eubacteria. Since it is a 3-mark question, we have to write any 3 uses. One is, they help in atmospheric nitrogen fixation. They help in recycling of nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, sulfur, or some of them act as decomposers. One gets converts milk to curd also, like lactobacillus. So you can write any of the three uses for 3-mark question. Viroids are smaller than virus, and viruses are larger than viroids. Viroids have free RNA and there is no protein coat. Whereas viruses, they have either RNA or DNA and they do have protein coat. Some examples of viroids are potato spindle tuber viroid and viruses, example mumps virus, smallpox, many other, poliovirus is also there, many other. Question number 24. Differentiate between the following. Red algae and brown algae, liverworts and mosses. This is also 3-mark question. The algae is also called rhodophyceae. They have chlorophyll A, D and phycoerythrin. Whereas brown algae is also called as phaeophyceae and they have chlorophyll A, C, carotenoids and xanthophyll. Stored food is called as Floridian starch in red algae, whereas stored food that is present in brown algae is called as laminarin or mannitol. For the examples for red algae or rhodophyceae, there are many examples. I'm going to write only one, Polysiphonia. Example for brown algae, Laminaria. In case of liverworts, plant body is thalloid, whereas in case of mosses, the plant body is leafy. There are gemma cups present in liverworts, whereas gemma cups are absent in case of mosses. Mercantia is an example of liverworts. And Funaria is an example of mosses. So that's for 3 marks. Question number 25. All vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. Justify the statement. This is also for 3 marks. The members of subphylum Vertebrata, they possess notochord during the embryonic period. The notochord is replaced by cartilaginous or bony vertebral column in the adult. That's why we can say all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. Question number 26, another 3-mark question. A typical angiosperm flower has 4 floral parts. Give the names of floral parts sequentially with diagram. This floral part is called carpel, or we can call it as pistil. These are the stamens. This is the petal. Then there are sepals. So each of the floral part, they have given half marks. So Pistil carries half mark, petals carry half mark, stamens carry half mark, and sepals carry half mark. So you will get 2 marks. 1 mark is for drawing diagram and label them. Question number 27 for 3 marks. Observe the given figure related to enzyme action and answer the following. So this figure you have to observe A, B, C, D, E. 1. What is the figure showing? Second part of the question. Name the substances marked as A and B. Third part of the question. What does the arrows marked C to E indicate? The first part of the question, what is the figure showing? The figure is showing concept of activation energy. A means substrate. Which means what is the C standing for? C stands for the amount of energy, activation energy required for the substrate to reach the transition state. This is the transition state. So that is C. And what is D? D is the amount of energy that is required for the substrate to get transition state. But there is a difference in both of these transition states. More activation energy is required for C. Why more is required is C does not use enzyme. There is no enzyme used by C. So more activation energy is required. Whereas D is using enzyme. Since D is using enzyme, only less activation energy is required for substrate to become converted to transition energy form. So that's about C and D. Then what is E? E just means substrate gets converted to product. So the energy required for substrate to get converted to product. That's it. Question number 28. Name the stages and type of cell division represented in figures A and B respectively. And second part of the question is also explain any one of them. A is metaphase here, and that too metaphase 1 of meiosis. Because you see here the homologous chromosomes are assembled in the equator area, and the spindle fibers are coming from the polar regions towards the kinetochore area of the homologous chromosomes. These are the spindle fibers. So this is metaphase 1, A. And B is these homologous chromosomes are getting separated here. See, they got separated towards the 2 poles. And so this is B is anaphase 1. Next is section D, where there will be 2 case study questions. So here what is there is read the following and answer the questions. So there will be a paragraph given like this. Cytokinesis, the division of cytoplasm, occurs differently in plant and animal cells during mitosis. In animal cells, it begins with a cleavage furrow that pinches the cell membrane, while in plant cells, a cell plate forms and grows from the center outwards to divide the cytoplasm. Cytokinesis typically follows karyokinesis, which means nuclear division, but can be absent in some specific cases. The cytokinesis in plant cell and animal cell during mitotic cell division is depicted in the figure given below. You can see a figure here with cell plate formation. Next is section D, where there will be two case study questions. So here what is there is read the following and answer the questions. So there will be a paragraph given like this. Cytokinesis, the division of cytoplasm, occurs differently in plant and animal cells during mitosis. In animal cells, it begins with a cleavage furrow that pinches the cell membrane, while in plant cells, a cell plate forms and grows from the center outwards to divide the cytoplasm. Cytokinesis typically follows karyokinesis, which means nuclear division, but can be absent in some specific cases. The cytokinesis in plant cell and animal cell during mitotic cell division is depicted in the figure given below. You can see a figure here with cell plate formation. Name the first stage of karyokinesis in mitosis. Prophase is the answer. So this is early prophase and this is late prophase. So these are the first stages of mitosis. The second part of the question, how is cytokinesis achieved in animal cells? Cytokinesis means cell division. So this is the answer. In an animal cell, a division furrow appears in the plasma membrane that joins in the center, dividing the cell into two. So if this is an animal cell, this is the plasma membrane. During cytokinesis, a division furrow appears in the plasma membrane of the cell. So this you can call it as division furrow. Later, the division furrow will meet towards the center. And then that single cell will become two different cells. So you will get here two daughter cells because of the division furrow formation. This is how cytokinesis takes place in animal cell. Third part of the question, how do cytokinesis take place in plant cells? Because plant cells will have cell wall. Then if that's the case, how cytokinesis takes place in plant cells? In plant cells, wall formation starts in the center of the cell with cell plate formation between the walls of two cells. So this is a plant cell in which there is a cell wall. So during cytokinesis, first in the middle of the cell, there will be a cell plate formation. So this is a cell plate. formed in the center of the cell. Later, the cell plate will prolong, they will elongate and join the lateral cell walls. Thus, they both will become two separate daughter cells. One daughter cell here, one daughter cell here. So there will be two daughter cells formed then because of this reason. That's how cytokinesis takes place in plant cells. Fourth part of the question, how is liquid endosperm formed in coconut? In coconut, karyokinesis is not followed by cytokinesis. As a result, multinucleate condition arises without cell wall formation, which means that nuclear division is not immediately followed by cell wall formation. As a result, there will be multinucleate condition without the formation of cell wall. And that multinucleate condition will result in endosperm, which is liquid. So there will be liquid endosperm formed in the coconut. So this is that liquid endosperm. Question number 30. Observe the figure and answer the following questions with appropriate options. So there is a figure here and there are labelings of A, B, C and D. So we have to label that and answer the questions that follows. The first part of the question is, what does the figure represent? Options are TS of monocot leaf, TS of dicot leaf, TS of dicot stem, TS of a monocot root. Now here, this denotes a leaf transfer section. So, and that too, we can see here, there is a stomata here. There is also a stomata here. That means it's an isobilateral leaf, where the stomata is present in both the adaxial epidermis and the abaxial epidermis. So it is a monocot leaf. So the answer is it's a TS of monocot leaf. That is the answer. So the function of labeled part A is xylem, transport of water inside the plant. Third part of question is identify the labeled parts C and D. Option A, C means adaxial epidermis, D means abaxial epidermis, and option B is C denotes cuticle, D denotes substomatal cavity, and option C says C is adaxial epidermis and D also adaxial epidermis is C. So this epidermis of a leaf is called as adaxial epidermis. What is D? This is D. D is abaxial epidermis. That is a lower one, abaxial epidermis. The fourth part of questions, these leaves are generally option A dorsoventral, option B isobilateral, option C both of these, and option D none of these. The answer is isobilateral because you can see the stomata is found on both adaxial epidermis also, abaxial also. Section E, question number 31. Illustrate the taxonomical hierarchy with suitable examples of plants and animals. This is for 5 marks and it's an OR question. So during classification, each step is called a category. When categories are arranged in a hierarchy, it's called taxonomic hierarchy. The taxonomic hierarchy can start like this: species, genus, family, order, class, phylum, and kingdom. Tuberosum is species, Solanum is genus, Solanaceae is family, is the order, Dicotyledone is a class, Angiospermae will be phylum, and then Plantae will be the kingdom. And if you see the animals, species Leo belongs to genus Panthera, family Felidae, order Carnivora, phylum Chordata, and kingdom Animalia. Number 31, or question. Differentiate between Chondrichthyes and Osteichthyes. This is also for 5 marks. Chondrichthyes, the first difference is that between Chondrichthyes and Osteichthyes is that Chondrichthyes have cartilaginous endoskeleton, whereas Osteichthyes have bony endoskeleton. Next, about the position of mouth. Mouth is located ventrally if it's in case of Chondrichthyes like sharks, whereas bony fishes, Osteichthyes, their mouth is located terminal. That means at the tip itself, in the front itself. Differences in case of Chondrichthyes, they have gill slits, but it's without operculum. Whereas in case of bony fishes or Osteichthyes, they too have gill slits, but they are covered with gill cover or operculum. The fourth difference is Chondrichthyes, their skin is covered with placoid scales, whereas the skin is covered with cycloid or ctenoid scales in case of Osteichthyes. And the fifth difference is that air bladder is absent in case of Chondrichthyes, whereas air bladder is present in case of Osteichthyes. So since air bladder is absent in Chondrichthyes, they have to constantly swim. Question number 32. Describe the various types of placentation found in flowering plants with suitable diagrams and examples. The or parters draw the label diagram of the following. One is gram seed and second is vertical section of maize seed. Question number 32. Describe the various types of placentation found in flowering plants with suitable diagrams and examples. The or parters draw the label diagram of the following. One is gram seed and second is vertical section of maize seed. So this is a kind of marginal placentation where the ovules are born on the placenta that is present in the margin of the ovary. So there will be a ridge here, that means a heightened place, and there will be placenta. From there, ovule arises. And this is the ovary. Like this placentation means it is called as marginal. Only one of the margins are having ovules. When you take the cross section of ovary in case of a multilocular condition. So multilocular means the ovary is divided into many compartments. There will be septa formation. So here, like that, there will be septa formation. And the ovules are attached towards the center. Like this type of placentation is called axile, where ovules are present in the center of a multilocular ovary. There is a cross section of an ovary where you can see the ovules are attached to the inner wall of the ovary. If in that case means you can call it as parietal placentation. And for example, mustard. Before that, I had discussed axile placentation. That one's example is lemon. And marginal placentation before that, that kind of placentation can be seen in peas or beans. We can see the ovules are attached marginally. This is free central placentation. Here the ovules are present at the center. They are born on the placenta that is located in the center. But we can see that the ovary has no septa. In such a case, we can call it as free central. For example, dianthus. This is the fifth one. Basal placentation, when a single ovule is born on the placenta that is present at the base of ovary. For example, in sunflower. This is the pistil part, this is the ovary. And the ovule is present at the base. So this is the ovule that is present at the base. This part is base. This kind of placentation is called basal, and that too the ovule is single. So we'll answer this first. What is centromere? So if this is a chromosome, the primary constriction of a chromosome is called as centromere. The next part of the question, how does the position of centromere form the basis of classification of chromosomes? And then we have to support our answer with a diagram, so showing the position of centromere on different types of chromosomes. When chromosomes, they have a centromere, in the middle of the chromosome with two equal sized arms. These are their arms for the chromosome. Then this kind of chromosome is called metacentric. When centromere is slightly away from the middle of the chromosome, so if this is a chromosome means this can be the middle. So the centromere is slightly away from the middle. If it is slightly away from the middle in such a way that there is a shorter arm and there is one large arm. Such a position means the chromosomes are called as submetracentric. When centromere is present close to the end of chromosome, forming one extremely short arm like this and one extremely long arm. Then that kind of chromosome is called acrocentric. When centromere is present at the terminal end of chromosome, then it is called telocentric. Can't see some arms over here. We cannot see it because they have extremely long arms on one side. On the other side, they're too short arms. So this kind of chromosome is called telocentric. Now question number 33 for the OR part. Describe the following. First is synapses. When homologous chromosomes pair. During prophase 1 of meiosis. It's called as synapses. Next is bivalent. So what do you mean by bivalent? Bivalent means when there is a complex formed by a pair of synapsed homologous chromosomes. Then these chromosomes are called as bivalent. Here you can see two homologous chromosomes are paired. So then these two chromosomes will be called as bivalent. Chiasmata means during diplotin stage of prophase 1, homologous chromosomes of the bivalents. So we'll first draw the homologous chromosomes. So this is one homologous chromosome. Bivalent. So they start to separate after the crossing over, except at the sites of crossing over. Like in this case, this is a site. So this site, and there is an X shape now, because it is not fully separated. This is called as chiasmata.